Page caching seemed like magic to me before I understood what was going on. It made pages fast somehow, but I didn't really understand how. Something that helped solidify my understanding was to actually see it happening on the server. So in this video, I want to give you a quick introduction to the fundamental concept of caching, and we'll see it in action on the server. Before we get started, let me just clarify what I'm actually talking about because there's a few different kinds of caching that you may have heard of. Server caching, object caching, browser caching, CDN caching, etc. What I'm talking about here is page caching, and specifically the kind that a plugin like WP Rocket, W3 Total Cache, Flying Press would do. So now let's clarify what the concept of caching is. The most common explanation that you've probably come across goes something like this. When someone comes to your WordPress site, PHP has to talk to the database, retrieve the info for the page that's been requested, then generate the HTML to put in your browser as a web page. Depending on how fast your server is and your plugins and various other factors, this could all take more than a few seconds, which is going to feel like an age to your visitors. So what that all means is that every time someone visits a page on your site, the pieces of the page have to be reassembled from scratch every time. The page only exists while someone's looking at it in their browser. After that, it just kind of disappears into the ether because it's not being stored in that assembled format. So what caching actually does is store that finished web page as an HTML file so that it can be reused. So the next time someone visits that page, all the PHP processing and assembly is no longer needed and the page can be displayed much faster. The page no longer disappears into the ether, but remains as a tangible HTML file. So let's take a look at this behind the scenes so you can see it actually happening on the server. So WP Rocket is installed on this site, and once the cache has been created for a page, it will have its own folder in the cache folder that replicates the URL structure of the page. If I look in a folder where the cache doesn't exist yet, you'll see that it's empty. But look what happens when I visit a page and then refresh its folder on the server. Now we have some files, and these are the actual cache files that are served to the visitors instead of all that PHP processing. So this cache file is like a photograph. It's like a snapshot of the page, a moment frozen in time. And this file isn't going to change until the cache is cleared. So this is where things with caching can get a bit confusing. One of the most common issues is that you change something on your site, you make an update to a post, and you don't see it on the front end of your site. And that's because you essentially haven't taken a new photo, a new snapshot of that page. The cache has to be cleared to make that new snapshot of that page and display the new content. WP Rocket takes care of this automatically for you in most cases, but other plugins may not. So just to demonstrate, let's see what happens when I update some content. So you can see when I save it that WP Rocket automatically deletes the old cache file. Now, if I had preload enabled, it would also generate the new one, but I turned it off for this because I just want the process to be a bit more obvious. So I'm going to go visit the page manually, and then you'll see that we get the new cache file. So this is similar to the kind of caching that your host may provide at the server level, like Nginx or Varnish caching. The concept is the same, but the cache output is saved differently. In that case, it's generally saved in the memory of the RAM, so you don't see it in your file system. But it works in a very similar way. It's still taking snapshots of your pages and storing them for faster delivery. So this is the reason that when something looks weird on your site or is outdated, the most common advice you're going to get is to first clear the cache. So that'll make sure that you're looking at a fresh version of the page. So I hope this gives you a little more insight into what's actually going on when caching is happening on your site. If you want to learn more about WordPress or speed optimization, check out webtrainingwheels.com.